Hi guys, welcome. This is my third episode. Yay, we made it. Um so today I'm going to be talking about how different has been to be living in the United States. As I've told you in my last episode, I was raised in Mexico, lived there for most of my life. So adjusting to things was kind of hard. So going back to when I was like 19 years old, I moved for the first time to the US for a few months, and then I went back to Mexico. And then finally, when I was 21 and I was pregnant with my daughter, it was time for me to move out of home and get my own apartment and become independent and whatever. So that's when I first moved away, really, like being really away from my house and having my own things. It was not as hard at the beginning, but when you have a newborn or when you're pregnant and you need help, you don't know what to do. So I adapted, honestly, a lot. At the beginning, it was just me and trying to handle things. My daughter's dad was working a lot of the time, so sometimes he was there, sometimes he wasn't, so it was just me, and it was difficult, but we made it work. So after she was born, like 3 months later, we moved to a different city that it was like an hour away from where we were living. So now this put me at a 2-hour travel from my family in Mexico, plus crossing the border and all that stuff. So I moved there to go to college and finish my bachelor's, and I did my bachelor's, and I was spending most of the time by myself, no family, so it was very difficult at the beginning. I mean, not that it's any less difficult now, but I have adjusted to things. And honestly, it's just, things are so different. So back then, I was in college, I was working, and studying and taking care of a baby and taking care of a house and just trying to take care of myself. It was all crazy. And then I graduated from college. I finished my bachelor's. And, just thinking about it, how time passes is insane. But talking about these things, I was just thinking, so at some point I moved back to another city that it was closer to my family, like an hour away, but still in the US. And then, things happen and I met someone, and then I moved back to another city, to the city I was living in college, and it was just crazy. Things were just crazy, and my daughter started going to school, so I had to settle down and just go with the flow. At this point, I think the major differences, it's food. I live in a place where they say they have Mexican food. That's not true. They're lying to me. They're lying. Oh my god. I love the food that I grew up eating, obviously. I love my mom's food, but nothing compares. It's not like, you know what, I'm not gonna cook today, I'm gonna go to my mom's and eat, or I'm gonna just take my daughter so that I can have a few hours off and they can see her and spend time with her. It's been difficult because I'm 2 hours away, and then if I cross the bridge, it takes me 30 minutes to get to their house, and my mom lives in a house, my sister's in another house with my grandma, so it's all, everyone's everywhere. So we always have to try to make a scheduling thing where I see them at a place and whatever. Mostly I just try to go for big things. There's a lot of things that I missed, a lot of milestones. I have 2 nieces by now. I met them both, obviously. One of them, she is 5 years old. No, she's 6. She just turned 6. Oh my God, time flies. So, I try to be there for them. I try to call them. We do video calls. I do video calls with my family. I try to do it very often with my niece, and I'm her favorite aunt. I want to say that right because it's me, but it's just hard, not just for me, but for my daughter, because like her grandma, my mom is over there, and all of her aunts, and all the people that I really grew up being really close to, they're not there anymore. So it's really hard. But I always try to tell my daughter, look, this is how it was. And, we had so much fun. We had amazing Christmases. My grandma worked so hard all the time to have us, so that we could have things, so that we could always have something. And she always told me that no boys matter. School's what matters. She wanted me to get an education, and I did, and have a good job, have my own things, and I do now. So I really appreciate that from her. I learned that from her, that men are not the first thing in your life, and it shouldn't. Like, you have to be your own person. Obviously, if you have a partner that supports you and everything, cool, go with that. But never depend on anyone else. It's just, I see it both ways. Like, sometimes you do need to depend on someone, but I grew up in a house where nobody was depending on anyone, so I tend to go both ways. So it's just, different. So going back to the missing milestones, obviously I had so many friends in Mexico. I had so many people that I've left, a lot of people that I don't talk to anymore, but at least we have social media. We see each other, like, hey, this person's doing this, hey, this person's doing that, or whatever. I miss people, people having babies, birthdays. I try to be there for the big events. Like, my best friends have had their weddings in Mexico, and I've been there for each one of them, at least the ones that have invited me, right? The ones that haven't forgotten about me, because I'm one of those people that sometimes they invite me, and I there's just circumstances that avoid me going there. And then the fact that if I go there, it's going to take me like so long, and then on the way back, depending on how the border is, it could take me 10-15 minutes, or it could take me 3 hours. And then that added to, like, all the driving and all this stuff. So it's quite difficult. So I used to try to, like, go, I don't know, maybe every 2 months, every month. Now, during the pandemic, it was harder. I was going, like, maybe once or twice a year. And obviously my family misses me. I miss them too, but that's why I call them, and I talk to them, I text them, I check on them. Me and my mom, we talk, but sometimes we, like, not talk anymore. So I asked my sister how my mom is doing. It's just like this weird thing that we've had since I was a little kid. Like, I was a teenager, and she was always asking my friends what was going on with me, and I wouldn't tell her things. It was just like an awkward thing, but it's okay. We've grown out of that. So it's just, the way a relationship works. And, speaking of that, there's just, like, so many things that are very hard. Like, not being able to tell them everything that's going on, because sometimes I feel like if I just tell them, they're gonna worry a lot for things that they cannot help me with, they cannot control. And it's just gonna make me feel sad that I don't have them there to help me. It's just, the first few years when I was away, I just really learned how to, like, separate myself and say, okay, well, they're having this problem, but there's nothing I can do. So I have to let go. I have to let him figure it out. I have to help. I will help however I can. But there's things, I probably miss, a lot of funerals of extended family. And I learned not to get too sad about it because, people die all the time. That's just a normal thing. I'm not saying that it's not sad. But I had to disengage from that feeling so that I could survive on my own. Because if not, it was going to be very difficult for me to stay away that far away from my family. Because like I said, my whole life, like even my cousins, they lived one street over from where I was living. So it was like we were always together. And now it's like I'm this whole new world, this whole new person. And, at least my friends, my family understands it. And I hope they do. My friends do too. They know, they invite me to, things, hoping that I can show up. I try to go to the major things, like I said, my friends' weddings. I haven't been to all the baby showers or birthdays or whatever, but I try to go, for whatever I can. I just try to take time to do those things and, schedule things and go there. But yeah, so just, it's been an adjustment. Now I've been in the US for 10 years now, and life here is different. Like, it's just having to adjust to the American way, versus the Mexican way. It's just like sometimes I see things in people that were, they grew up here, they grew up in a very Americanized family. And me growing up in a very Mexican family, it's just like, sometimes we still clash. There's still things that sometimes I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Cultural things mostly. But, we're all unique. We're all each other's persons, whatever. We're all different and we adapt. That's my thing. Again, I'm a Pisces. I'm supposed to be adaptable. I just go with the flow. But sometimes it's quite difficult. There's just been times that I just been like, I need my mom. I need my family. I'm just gonna leave my life. I'm just gonna go over there and stay for like a week, a month, whatever. I just need to see them. I just need to be there with them. I just need to tell them everything that's going on that I haven't been able to tell them because I don't want to worry them. And it's just like, sometimes it consumes me. Every time I go there, I'm so happy to see my family. And, I'm also like, okay, I've come to realize that it's okay for me not to be there. And sometimes, we all need a little bit of distance from family because we don't want to hate them. But everybody needs somebody, right? We all need somebody that can be there. Like if we're having a bad day, that we can just drive to them. And I used to have my best friend live like so close to me. I would just drive to her house, or she would drive to my house. We'd just sit outside, just on the street walk, and we would just talk there and cry and laugh. And now I don't get to do that anymore. So there goes my mental health. Which I try to take care of a lot. Probably been severely depressed for a long time, but I've been trying to find ways to get me out of it. My anxiety, that's something that I think I've always had since I was like very, very young. I just didn't know that it was something that bad until, I started having panic attacks. But we're gonna leave that for another episode. So again, the differences are humongous. It's just like, even like my friends that they are somehow used to the Americanized way, but they live in Mexico, they still, like, we're still in different stages, we're still in different places, there's still things that I do that they don't understand. And that's mostly because I had, my daughter like almost 10 years ago. So none of them had kids. They all kept, going out, doing their own things. They got married. They did this, they did that. And I was over here somewhere else in Siberia, living my own life and doing my own things. And it was just hard. But, I'm not able to spend holidays sometimes with my family. And now we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Mexico. So, we kind of used to, because my grandma used to work for someone that, they'd celebrate Thanksgiving, and they would give her like a turkey or something, or a ham, and then we would have that. But yeah, it's been an adjustment. I don't even think anyone in my family, most of them cannot come to the US. So that's another thing. That's why it's also very difficult. And I think there's only like one. My cousin is the only one that has been able to come to my house and see it. Nobody else has been able to see my house. They don't know where I live. It's just, so many things. So yes, like leaving your home country. Even though I was born in the United States, I just live, my life is in Mexico. I am a Mexican person. I grew up Mexican. I live there, and I know what it is like. And then leaving it partially is good, because the way of life here, it's kind of better, but I also miss things. So you just have to learn how to balance those things. And when I get homesick, I just I just throw myself in a ball, or I call my family. I video call them. I don't like talking on the phone, but I can video call them and, just talk about things, just say funny things, just anything, so that I can forget and, have a better day. And I really didn't think this is going to be such a long episode, but, I've given you a little bit of what my life has been ever since I moved out of Mexico, and how different it has been. So if you're interested in more, leave me some questions, whatever. I will try to add more information. But, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back for the next one. Love you guys. Mwah.